Mention gun control and legislation. I have to bring the audience some breaking news regarding multiple people having been shot at Harris County College, that is in Texas. According to the Harris County precinct deputies there, investigators say the shooting happened at the Lone Star College North Harris campus. Officials have not said exactly how many people have been shot or the extent of their injuries. A hospital in that area said that Life Flight was being sent to the university or to the college to pick up at least one patient. Deputy constables, the authorities on the scene, have said that they have at least one person detained, but have not said if that person is the suspected shooter. Investigators have not said if they believe there's more than one shooter involved in this. But again, multiple people have been shot at a Harris County College in Harris County. That is near the Houston area, if I'm not mistaken. But investigators say the shooting happened at the Lone Star College on the North Harris campus there. Earlier, during Andrea Mitchell's last few minutes of her hour, this news was developing, and at that time, the report was that there had been shots fired. But now, here 6 minutes later, we've gotten this update, and there are reports that multiple shots have been fired at this college, and that at least 4 people have been shot at this college. We can get some more information, hopefully logistically, on what this college or where it is located. But I do know that Harris County includes Houston, Texas, and we'll get more on the population or the size of this particular college. But right now we're waiting to get more information. This is a latest school shooting, university shooting, college shooting that we've seen. I don't have to give you the short recent history of the most traumatic being Newtown in Connecticut, but we've seen Virginia Tech and other schools go in lockdown, and as a result of a gunman on campus. But right now, what we know regarding this situation, multiple people, according to authorities, shot at a Texas college. This is near Houston, Texas. North Harris is under a shelter in place. I imagine this means that the students have been placed in lockdown. They say shelter in place. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm assuming that that is referring to the students and the faculty being told to take shelter immediately there. We don't know if this university or this college has in place a system, for example, like Virginia Tech after the massacre on the campus of that university, where they have an alert system where students receive text messages and even emails to alert them of a situation happening on campus. So we're not exactly sure how the word is getting out to the students and faculty at this college in Harris County in Houston, Texas. But what we know at this point is that 4 people, multiple people have been shot at a Harris County college. I've got FBI profiler Clint Van Zandt, who's standing by. Clint, this is the second time that we've been on air since Newtown, where literally we've had breaking news during a conversation on gun legislation. I was just talking to Congressman Chris Van Hollen, and we break in with news regarding this shooting, and we're waiting to get information in Texas. And it was, I believe, just last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. Again, we're in the middle of a conversation on gun legislation, and there was a shooting in California. Right now, we don't know much about what's happening here, or what's happened, I should say, here. But police are saying, Clint, multiple people have been shot.
Yeah, and you know what I'm afraid we're seeing is there are a number of people who, because of pending gun legislation, for one thing, are buying guns. I was at a local sporting goods store where I live in Virginia, and people were stacked up too deep at a gun counter buying guns, and the ammunition had almost been cleaned. This is a large store, and the ammunition had been cleaned off almost all of those shelves. So number one, you've got this paranoid belief on the part of some people that the current administration wants to take their guns or wants to take their ammunition. Realize there's 300 million guns in America. So if they think the FBI and ATF are going to be lined up at their front door to get their guns, you know, that's just not going to take place.
And we don't know if that's the case here, but I do want to point our audience to what we're looking at here on our screen. You see at least one person at the top of the screen lying on his or her back, it appears, and at least one EMT has gloves, so we're assuming and I don't want, forgive me for making any kind of assumption whether this is a suspect or a victim, we cannot tell, but you see a number of people hovering over this individual on that little patch of grass there. EMT workers and authorities on the scene there, and there appears to be, and the tree is blocking our view, but there appears to be another person on the ground as well. At this point, Clint, we've been told multiple people, obviously not a specific number there, but we see at least activity over 2 individuals on this portion of grass there in our screen here, Clint.
Yeah, and I think what we're finding out, what we've seen the last few years is when we see these shootings, these mass shootings, these campus shootings, these theater shootings, they almost to a person, there's some significant mental health issue that's ongoing that allows them to take whatever frame of reference they have and then act out against a community, which may well be what we're seeing right now at this North Harris campus.
And Clint, I know that Texas has a concealed handgun law. You're able to carry in that state. I've reported extensively on when the law passed, and there was a great concern over whether or not the crime rate would go up, meaning not in the sense of burglaries, but people getting into confrontations, for example, in vehicles and going out and shooting someone over a petty argument over traffic. There were great concerns, but the concealed handgun weapons law passed in the state. I do not know, and we can work to get the information regarding if you're able to carry guns on these university campuses or not, because we've had that conversation in the past where governors have even said that they would support people carrying guns on school campuses and sporting events in places that would seem unusual to some. But again, pointing our audience back to what we see here on screen, this is Harris County College. That's in Harris County, obviously, in Texas. The university, or the college, is called Lone Star College. That's near Harris campus. So we're trying to get the breakdown here, but it sounds like this is a campus that is part of Lone Star College, and this is their North Harris campus. About 12 to 14 minutes ago, word came in that several shots were heard on this campus. A few minutes later, multiple people, according to authorities, confirmed shot. We do not have an exact number on that. But Clint, back to the conversation of the law in the state. They do have a concealed handguns weapons law in place in Texas, and it's been in place, I'm going to calculate 15, maybe 20 years now, maybe around that.
Yeah, it has, and we have seen few shootings like this, mass shootings that have ever been attributed to someone who legally has the right to carry a gun. The shootings that we've seen in the last year, for example, not only have been individuals by and large with mental health issues, but people who have stolen guns or taken guns from their parents or something else, where there was no legal aspect to them having guns, carrying guns, or deploying a weapon in that regard anyway. So, we may well be talking apples to oranges, with the exception of what you're saying. Many people will say, well, that at least if they had someone carrying a gun on campus, that may have given them the ability to respond to the shooter. And obviously, at this point, we don't know that to be the case at all.
And we do not, but we know, Clint, that this will be an incident, depending on how this all shakes out, that perhaps will be used in the conversation over what to do regarding gun control. We do not know if there was a semi-automatic weapon, assault weapon. That we do not know. We know that one person is in custody. We know that multiple people have been shot, and this is going to be added, sadly, to the list of school shootings. Let me show you. I want to point our audience to the right side or the left side of the screen here. You see a number of people rushing under this building or rushing away. We know that there's what's described, interestingly enough, as a shelter in place, and I'm assuming this is where students and faculty, staff people there have been advised to go immediately for their protection. We do not know if this college has a alert system in place, such as text messaging and emailing. Universities have started to do that since Virginia Tech, to get the proper information out as soon as possible to the students who, unbeknownst to them, are sitting in the classrooms and unaware of a shooting that could be very near where they are at the time. So we at least know that some part of this university, or some portion of the students who attend, have been alerted and they've been told to take immediate shelter where they are. Clint, we see this activity, so likely, what do you believe the authorities are doing? We know that one person, we're being told, is in custody, and they are looking for at least another individual. How do you manage that when you're trying to treat multiple people who've been shot, as well as secure this campus? And we can assume it's a college, so it is a pretty large campus. It's not a small school.
Yeah, they've got a number of things going on. Number one, of course, they have to treat the wounded, but as important, they have to make sure they've found the shooter, that they've stopped this person from carrying any more shootings. You used the term shelter in place, and this has been important. This is something that we learned, unfortunately, at Virginia Tech, is that many of the doors in the classrooms did not have the ability to be locked from the inside. A little thing like that can make the difference between life and death. So when the message goes out, shelter in place, that by and large is telling the instructors, the faculty, the students, get inside of a room, lock the door from the inside, and hunker down until law enforcement tells you it's clear to come out.
We're looking at video coming into MSNBC right now. One individual you see there being taken, I'm assuming, to an ambulance nearby. They're not rushing, so we can see that the person is not critically injured. But this is all going down at the Lone Star College. That's in North Harris County. Their campus is about 20 miles north of Houston. It's in an unincorporated area of Harris County, south of the Woodlands. People who are familiar with Texas will know the Woodlands. Considered affluent, beautiful area in Houston or near Houston. I'm familiar with it because I worked in Bryan College Station, which is just outside of this area where Texas A&M is located, for example, just to give you a point of reference and not a geography lesson. But here's where this incident is taking place, near Houston. One person in custody, multiple people shot at this Texas college. I'm also being told that there's a daycare on this college campus. All of the children, we're told, are safe at this point. The campus has roughly 18,000 students. And in Texas right now, Texas is one of the states that has a concealed carry weapons law. Currently, there are 21 states that ban carrying concealed weapons, but on college campuses. And Texas seems to be one of those, according to the information that I have, that 21 states that ban carrying a concealed weapon on a college campus. Texas is included in that. However, the state does have a concealed carry weapons law that's been in effect for nearly 20 years now. Let me go to KPRC out of Houston, Texas. Let's listen into a little bit of the information they have for their local audience.
Continue to check in with you as soon as you get some more information and as soon as we get some new information as well. Again, as Phil pointed out, a perimeter has been set up north of campus. A second suspect was seen fleeing from an academic building wearing a red shirt and a Falcons baseball cap. He was seen running towards a subdivision that's in that area. And looking at this map here on your screen, that is a huge area, huge perimeter that law enforcement officers are going to have to set up there.
And other accounts that we're seeing, you know, I told you that multiple people are saying that this happened in the library. We're seeing posts that those people being treated that you see right there, that this is right outside the library. Now, I'm not familiar enough with this campus to know where the library is, but they're saying that that's right outside the library, and that they're saying that one of the victims was a woman that is being treated. And certainly sometimes from aerial view, that's hard to tell. We know that the one man who was handcuffed to the stretcher, that was a man. They're saying that one of the people shot was a woman. We're just hearing multiple people shot.
And another point that you brought up earlier, it's unclear at this point if the shooters were already on campus or somehow connected to the campus, or if they found their way onto campus. Again, it's still too early to say what prompted this whole still developing situation that's taking place there, but we do know that 2 people were taken away on stretchers. One is said to be critically injured, and we do know that police are searching for a second suspect there on the north side of the college campus. We have reports that that person was seen running from an academic building towards a neighboring subdivision there up in North Harris County.